Hey everyone, welcome back to another Friday live workouts. We are going to be using our sticks today from Stick Mobility. Obviously, we're big fans of these. If you ever checked out our page, there's a lot of different stick movement videos. Obviously, it's a big part of our YouTube channel, so if you're actually not able to follow along to this workout today, and you can go find it on our YouTube channel, the Tampa Strength YouTube channel, and you'll see a whole playlist dedicated to stick movements. So we're a big fan of these. Obviously, I know sometimes this is a little specific, so some people might not have these. You can add, and there's some other variations, but we always love the Stick Mobility. Big orange sticks are our favorites. So we're going to start with these today. We're going to start with this 5-foot stick. We've got some 6-footers here. We're going to do what we movement called a kayak. I'm just going to roll my shoulders out, forward kayak. Good for our shoulder mobility. I'm really trying to focus just on shoulders. All right, don't move my head, don't move my hips. So these sticks are obviously great for range of motion, mobility, flexibility, and there's some good isometric strength exercises we can do with these sticks too. So I'll probably show you a little bit of everything today. This is a much needed, I think, recovery movements or session for me. Long, hard week, and as you can see, I'm wearing a knee brace. So yes, I had a little bit of I dinged up my knee in jiu-jitsu this week, so this is actually a much needed session. So we had our kayaks, forward and backwards. Now we have pendulums. We're going to do a transverse, where it's across my chest, side to side. The sun is really shining on me right now, so I'm glad I'm out here early in the morning doing it. Not too hot yet here in Florida, but I don't know how many more live workouts I'm going to be doing outside in the next couple of months because it's going to get warm, so it'll probably be a little later in the day. Alright, now we're doing frontal. Looks like an actual pendulum. Should have worn my sunglasses and my hat. Alright, after a couple more of these pendulums, I'm going to go into a nunchuck stretch. Alright, so nunchuck stretch is a external shoulder rotation stretch. So I'm here, I got the stick behind my shoulder, and I grab across my belly, and pull the stick. Show you from the side. What my arm is doing right now is externally rotating my right shoulder. I'm just holding it in position. Went for a 5-10 count. And we actually love doing this. We train a lot of golfers here. So I'm going to have it in front of my shoulder too. So this might be a little bit more, I guess, what's the word, achievable for a client. This movement's really tough for some people, right? Just grabbing, holding this is tough. Shoulder external rotation, obviously, but this position is a little bit more manageable for people to get into, but you're still working shoulder external rotation, all right? So I'm holding that for about another 10 count. I'm going to go back to this movement or this position out here. And this one specifically we love doing with all our clients, but specifically golfers because especially top of their backswing, externally rotating the shoulder is a huge part of getting the club in the right position in the swing. All right, so if you lack external rotation in your shoulder, especially your trail arm, you really can't get it into that slot that they talk about in golf instruction. Alright, so one more in this position. I'll show you when I switch sides. I'm going to do both arms. When I do this position, or when I do this movement, a lot of times, because a lot of clients also complain of a lot of neck pain or tightness, for lack of better words, I like to combine basically kind of like a little, essentially, neck rotation into this movement. Alright, so I'm doing my nunchuck here, the left arm. Now I'm going to turn my head away and try to touch my chin to my collarbone. And I feel the stretch really right here on this side of the neck. Alright? So I held that as I'm kind of working this hand down here. This arm here, this bottom arm, is what works on increasing external rotation. You can kind of see it when I go in front here. When I pull, right, that's working that external rotation. Like I said, you know, elbows in front of your body, it's definitely much more achievable for clients, especially if they have some shoulder issues. Right? Now, if you have like maybe a rotator cuff issue, whether it be a tear or anything like that, this is probably not the best move. I mean, unless you've gone through rehab and things like that, and the doctor gives you the okay, this might be challenging at first, you know. But this is actually probably a good, you know, rehab movement down the line once you've got away from you recovered from the injury. Yeah. So sometimes, like I said, if I get this elbow here, if I'm working my neck, I'll also come towards my shoulder, towards my collarbone on this side, and just rep it out and alternate between the two. All right. So, like I said, this is a great, and I think people have probably seen a lot of moves where they do, you know, some squatting, whether it be a warm up here, and this is a great, you know, just a real tool. I mean, obviously you can use anything, but it's, you know, lightweight. But we can have our overhead squat practice here, right? So I got the club right over my head, right? I'm pulling the stick apart to add a little tension in my shoulders. Squat, stand back up, all right? Show you guys from the side. So movement prep, that's another really good, really beneficial aspect of these sticks, is movement prep. Not that we do a ton of loaded squats or overhead squats here at the gym, but people do them, you know, weightlifters, powerlifters. So doing some movement prep is a great way to kind of activate and warm up for that specific movement. All right. All right, so now I'm going to switch to my 6-foot sticks. I'm going to go to 1. So you can see, obviously, one's a little bit taller. But currently, in Stick Mobility, they offer 2 sizes, a short and a long. So we've been using these for years. I mean, I think I got my first Stick Mobility, so now I'm going to go what they call a slap shot movement. All right? Work on my thoracic spine, hinge, put the stick down anywhere in between my toes. Obviously, further you go to the opposite foot, more range of motion. All right? A little bit tighter in that back, so I'm aiming for the center. And when I get in this position, I can add a little tension, so I can also separate the stick. So I push my bottom hand down, pull my top hand up, and switch sides. Really activates those muscles in that chest, upper back. This is also another great movement for golfers because you're kind of working disassociation. You're trying to move one body part independent of the other. Alright? And that's really one of the keys to the swing. If you break it down, your hips are moving, your upper back's moving, your arms are moving, your club's moving, and then you initiate that same sequence down into the downswing. Alright? That's how you get that whip effect to create power and speed in your swing. Alright, so that was the slap shot. Now I had another little variation with my slap shot. So then at first, I guess, level 1 slap shot, I have no hip movement. Alright, now I get a little wider stance, toes at an angle, same thing, slap shot, and then lunge. So I'm working a little lateral lunge, a little hip mobility, hip strength. This actually really works on that range of motion too, this top arm. Alright? Great for your elbows too. Do one more each side. So depending on how tall you are, kind of dictates what kind of the length of the stick you would do for that movement. Now, like I was saying, Stick Mobility offers 2 lengths now, a short and a long. The short, I believe, is around 4 feet 8 inches. The long, I believe, is around 6 feet 4 inches, or 6'6" possibly. So yeah, and I always recommend, as you can kind of see what I have here today, I have 2 longs and a short, and we'll show you why. Obviously, there's some moves you can do with the short, like the kayak I did earlier, and there's some you can do with long. All right, so we're going to do another one with the long stick. You can actually do this with the short stick too. You don't need a long stick, but it's called teeter-totter. Another little shoulder movement, right? Kind of you saw probably both of these aspects we were working when we did our kayak. But another good one for your shoulder stretch, especially internal rotation for this arm. So this arm, I'm internally rotating, pointing this elbow to the ceiling or sky. For this, the case I am now. And then another little external rotation for this arm. Right? Once again, keep my chest still. Try not to turn or rotate any other joints. Focusing on my shoulders. Switch sides. Yeah. Someone, I would say I probably carry most of my tension. If I have like one area that's normally kind of chronically tight, it's my neck and the back. So these are really great movements. These are some movements. These are some go-to movements for me. Right here, the kayak, the nunchuck, the teeter-totter. Those are staples that I do every day for myself, and do a lot of time for clients too, because a lot of clients have a similar, obviously we're going to go into some lower bodies, posterior chain, some hip mobility drills are movements next, but these are some really good go-to, especially for me, that I love doing. Teeter-totter, that's what this move is called, in case you're wondering. Yeah, I would say when it comes to stick mobility is probably, when it comes to recommending exercise equipment, I think stick mobility is probably up there in my top 3. I'm a very cost efficient kind of guy. I say, obviously body weight's the free version, but things like mini bands, where we've had a live workout using mini bands, super cost efficient. You can do a ton of exercises, get a lot of benefits from a $20 pack of mini bands. Jump rope, $10, $15. You can get a ton of benefits from a jump rope. Stick mobility, a little higher price point, but the amount of movements you can do are astronomical. Like I said, and we developed a whole training program that contains like over 100 stick movements, and I'm sure stick mobility, the actual providers, they have many more, and people kind of I wouldn't say I guess create movements is probably the right word, and so that's one of the benefits about stick mobility. All right, so next one we're gonna do posterior chain movement, single leg hinge. It's also a really good move for working on your hinge pattern, which we love doing with golfers, but it's honestly really beneficial to all individuals, right? So think about this, different aspects of this move. I'm standing on one leg, so I'm working balance, right? I'm working the posterior chain, especially in the back of my left leg, right? And I work a little strength too, because I'm driving this heel to the ceiling. So I got my glute working on my right side. Flying through the air. Obviously the sticks are helping me with my balance, but also kind of having me working, stretching, and I'm really trying to elongate my body when I do this move, right? There's different variations we can do from the single leg hinge, right? So we can get in here, we can do our, what they call airplane, where I tilt my pelvis externally, internally, right? I can do what they call the helicopter, a little advanced, but I would say, it just shows the variations of things you can do. Okay. We'll do regular single leg hinge on the other side. I love this as a kind of regular, real good posterior chain stretch, especially that side where the leg is on the ground, right? And especially, I know I said this a little while ago, but for golfers, working our hinge pattern is huge. Every time you address the golf ball, you have to hinge, right? So you have to address the golf ball. Address the golf ball. Obviously, certain individuals' hinges are deeper, more steep than others, but you have to hinge. So posterior chain is a huge aspect of that. And balance. So I think balance training should be paramount for anyone, especially anyone probably over the age of 40. Balance can help when we talked about with athletes with core control, you know, proprioception, which is kind of be able to control your body in different changing terrains and things like that. The ability to, so like you say, you step off a curve, being able to step down safely, not worry about falling and hurting yourself. Say if the terrain changes suddenly, if you go from a solid surface to a slippery surface, you're able to control your body more if you work on balance strength. So, all right, so that's single leg hinge. Another one I love. I don't know if I could say this might be my favorite stick mobility movement right here. It's called the X stretch, right? And once again, it's another upper, but this is really a lat stretch, right? So I have my hands higher than my head here. For me, with these 6 foot sits, they're pretty much on the top. I drop. Once again, I'm hinging, so I'm pushing my hips away from the stick. So I'm trying to show you from the side, would be a good angle. Right there. So you see my knees are away from the sticks, and I turn the sticks. So what I'm really doing too is hanging from the sticks. I'm dropping my weight to the ground. Like I'm almost hanging from a pull-up bar. So if I just sit here, you can just have someone, I mean, it'd be beneficial just doing this. You get a really good stretch in the traps, in the lats, in the triceps. And I have a little movement too. Move that stretch around your back. Probably feel it right to the top of your lumbar. I'm keeping my hips still. Really just want to focus on that. Now you could probably add a little movement into this if you want to do lunge. There's another move called a ninja where you do one stick and you do another hanging movement. This is the X stretch. And I love this move. This is, like I said, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be that one because it's just like that hanging effect, stretching, you get that decompression in the spine. It's super beneficial. So, all right, so we did that, and I'll talk about hip mobility. I know we did the single leg hinge, which is a hip mobility movement, and now we're going to do what's called Captain Morgan. All right, so you guys, I'm going to start doing this movement, and see, hopefully, if you're watching, you can know why it's called the Captain Morgan. All right, so what I'm doing, I'm adduction, abduction, this leg. I got a little feedback, so I'm touching my sticks. Outside my foot touches the far stick, inside touches the the front stick, 12 o'clock stick, 3 o'clock stick. Obviously, I can, if I feel like I got a little bit more range of motion, I can move this 3 o'clock stick. Figure out why we call it the Captain. You get the Captain Morgan bottle. Got the pirate on there. It's got a foot up on the barrel. All right. Now the key with this, one of the keys I should say, is I'll show you from the side, is when you go here, you don't want your knee here, right? I want it to be in line with the foot, right? And there's a couple different variations of this that we can do. I'm going to switch sides so the variation on this side. All right, so we can have the Captain, where we go down and up the stick, bring it back. All right. Working some knee flexion extension. Try to keep your chest orientated forward towards that 12 o'clock stick the whole time. Good, one more. All right, so I'm going to do one more movement down on the ground, kneeling. And like I said, this is just a small little taste of what stick mobility offers. So we're going back down to one stick, and I'm going to go into a little hammy stretch, right? So I've got the stick on my shoulder, and we can do this standing also, and like I said, the stick adds balance, really. It's a tool, right? So it's not necessarily that I need this, and I mean, I'm sure some people have done this movement right here like this, but I like this especially because when we do this half kneeling hammy stretch, you really want to focus on neutral spine, because you'll feel the stretch so much more. Right? Oh, I feel it there. I could go like this, right? Oh, I don't feel it. But here, if I keep that tension, ooh yeah, right there. I feel the maximum stretch right there. And what I love with this, after I hold for maybe a certain amount of time, 10, 20, 30 seconds, I like adding movement into it. So that's what the stick here really provides, you know? Helps you keep a neutral spine and allows you to put movement in. Stretching aids, right? This is what these sticks really offer also, you know? They're stretchy. That's why everybody benefits from these sticks, all ages. You know, I think there's, in the gym, there's probably some equipment and more suited to certain individuals of a certain fitness level. These sticks are for everyone, right? All right, let me hold it first. The sun's really beating down on me, so this might be my last movement. But actually, I'm going to show one kind of resistance isometric exercise real quick, strength building exercise, before we jump off to show you that these sticks have a lot to offer, right? I'm just getting a good hamstring stretch here. Hold it for a few more seconds, and then add a little movement. Got a little bit of limited movement based on my knee. Feeling good, nothing too bad. Last 2 days have been progressively getting better. Right there, that external, no, yeah, it's internal, external. Yeah, the external is limited right now. All right, so now isometric. I can use this stick. I'm going to use the 5-footer, but I could use that stick. It's not a big deal, especially. But for if you're like say in a gym, like we have it in our gym, in our studio, we sometimes space is an issue, so we want to kind of minimize space. So we use a shorter stick. Dead bug, one of my favorite core exercises because it keeps your spine neutral, but really it builds both your anterior and posterior side of your core, lower back and abs, builds the strength through isometrics. All right, so I got the stick. Woo, it's bright down here. Right hand pushes in through the bottom of my left quad, and I'm creating tension by driving the knee into the stick, sticking to the knee, and then reach and extend the other arm and leg. You can let your head lay flat or raise it up a little bit. One of the keys with this, don't let your lower back arch, especially when you reach. Right? Your lower back wants to arch and keep that little air pocket crushed. Crush it down. That's building that isometric strength. You do so many different variations of the dead bug. I'm sorry I'm closing my eyes, but the sun is about right. Alright, let's switch sides. Remember, contralateral. You can do ipsilateral or same side, right arm, right leg, but we're doing contralateral. You can do this with band on your feet, dumbbells in your hand without the stick. I like the stick. It really helps you create a level of tension. It's very different than adding any other like bands or ankle weights. You want last one. Oh yeah. Woo. All right. It helps you get up off the ground too. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that stick mobility session. Like I said, that is just a fraction of what stick mobility movements. You guys can go to our YouTube channel, Tampa Strength YouTube channel. You will obviously see this live workout if you didn't follow along today. You'll see the bunch of all the other Friday live workouts, and there's a whole playlist with stick mobility movements, so you can just see how many there are available. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment on said YouTube channel, and then hopefully maybe we'll give me an idea for the next live workout, and I will see you in a week.